Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We are treasure hunters and space scavengers. We seek to find the galaxy's hidden gems and profit from them. I'm joined by chiasson, founder of the Salvage and Treasure hunting organisation Wreck Raiders. Hello chiasson.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No worries at all, thank you very much for reaching out. So, tell me about your organisation Wreck Raiders. What is the organisation about and what sort of players will it suit?
Well, yes, we are actually looking for profiting from all the gems that we can find within the galaxy. So we are space scavengers. We also do mining as well. So that entails additionally exploring and security because most of our activity will be in lawless space. So that's what we'll need to reach out. We'll need a network of explorers as such, and also people to protect our back when we're seeking out those gems. Uh, what we have also is we're kind of tailored as our chapter is like a motorcycle gang, essentially. So we have a bylaw very similar to that kind of framework. And as such, you can think of us as Tomb Raiders meet Sons of Anarchy. That's kind of a image that you could pull out of this. And we actually are working around a business model. So we have a very strong business model geared toward profit and bringing value to the member as a whole.
Okay, so I can see that it's quite a small organisation at the moment. Are you actively recruiting?
That is correct, yes.
And so, if you had an alignment, if your corporation, Rec Raiders, had an alignment, what alignment would that be? Because you say that on your org page that you operate in a moral grey area.
That is correct. Pretty much just like Star Citizen itself, where you don't have black and white, we are also in a gray area. We'll try to get away with what we can, essentially. We'll try to not get trouble with the UEE, but when we're in lawless space, it's fair game, essentially. Although we will not go all the way to pirate side of things. So if we're looking at an RPG alignment kind of description, I would say the org itself would be true neutral. Let me elaborate on that. For example, if we run across somebody that is stranded in space, we'll probably give him a hand if it doesn't, hurt us in any way. But if that same person stumble upon one of our discovery, then he's in a hoop of trouble.
Yeah, so going on that, can you explain a little bit more about the chapter system and also the finders keepers rule that you have in your org?
Sure. So essentially, well, let's go with the chapter first. The idea of the chapters was that most of our organization is tailored for mature people. And most of those people have a professional, a family life, and very limited time window. So we kind of organize ourselves around those time windows. So we know that, for example, we have two chapters going on, and we're looking to actually increase those offering. So we have one for the Eastern time in North America and one for Pacific time right now. And so those are from 9 to 11. So that's usually when people have time to get into the game and play for a while. So this is by no means saying that that's the only time you're supposed to be playing. Those are the time that we can actually play together. And we're making sure that way that instead of having a logistic nightmare trying to find a time that suits everyone, we're putting it up front so then people know if the org is actually suitable for them or not. And so that way we are better organized. And also, when we do have the game in full blown in the PU, will be also each chapter will be tied to a location, if you will, so either a system or surrounding system. So that way, because we're not going to be able to spawn wherever we want necessarily, unless you're obviously using NPC and that sort of thing. So when we actually are in game, we're actually going to be in the same area to work together.
So, going on that, is there any other things that players can join in with now? I saw that there were monthly meetings for the chapters. So, what else is there to do, or how do those monthly meetings work?
Monthly meeting will be it's pretty much just like a bicycle gang. Usually those guys will have a monthly meeting. And the idea is that's where we'll do simple stuff such as we have a system within the membership where you have the affiliates, but within the mains members, those guys, you're either prospect members or patch members. And patch members are voted in. And so this is where you have that monthly meeting, which allow you to be voted in as a patch members. Patch members are essentially the trusted agent of the organization. You need a unanimous vote to be getting at that level. There's no other advantage really, because if you're a prospect, you still have the same information to database and all that good stuff. So you're not going to be shone out of the information itself. It's just that when you become a patch member, then you're really a trusted agent, and you also have voting rights. So you can make decision as to where the org is going and what you're doing within your chapters and so forth. So the organization itself, though the structure is fairly flat, and each chapters are pretty much, you know, rolling their own, doing their own business. We're just collaborating as an org as a whole when it comes to sharing information.
So do you treat affiliates differently compared to main members?
Yes, we do. Affiliates are, in essence, or for the majority of cases, will be explorers that will have the right to the right to write into our knowledge base. So they'll be able to send us information, but they'll not be able to extract the information. So, for example, I stumble upon a wreckage. I try to salvage what I can, but I'm not equipped myself for doing mass salvage. Well, I can then share that information to the rec raiders, and in exchange, we will have a 10% finder's fee, and that's the finder's fee rule that we're talking about, so that it will actually provide you a fair, or actually a very generous finder's fee for your effort. And so anything that is found by anyone within the organization will be providing you that information, so long as that information remains exclusive to the organization of the rec raiders. So if you start sharing that information to somebody else, then the deal is off, essentially.
Okay, no, I like that idea. I'm interested to see how you'll check that, but we'll have to see how that works in game, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, if you allow me to carry on that thought, I mean, some people might say 10% is not that much, but this is 10% of revenue, not of profit. So if we're talking, let's say, a mining expedition, I foresee that you would have a gross profit of probably about 25% after you have all the paid the NPCs or members for the people working on the mining rig, repair, fuel, escort, all those kind of consideration. At the end of the day, I would expect that you have still a decent profit that's left at the end. But if you get about half of the revenue, that means you get essentially half of the, 10% of the revenue. That means you get about half of the profit itself. So that's pretty much a good deal. The only difference here is that you're not going to be subject to the efficiency of the people doing the mining or the salvage. You have a lock rate when it comes to your finder's fee.
Oh, indeed, and also 10% of something's much better than 10% of nothing. So
Yeah,
you can't complain about that.
yeah, and you have the first, the first right of refusal. So you found it, you can do a little bit of mining or you can do a little bit of salvage. And when you found that, I did what I had to, I might as well, pass it along to somebody else. That's where we come in.
So, is there a code of conduct that you will hold players to in game? So, not just the way they act, like in character, but also if they are trolls or doing something naughty.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a like fixed rule for our code of conduct, and although the organization itself is a true neutral, like I was saying, within the org itself, the members are expected to be truly loyal to each other. I mean, we have each other's back essentially. So the first rule is, you shall honor the keeper's finder rule, meaning that the finders have the right of first refusal, like I was mentioning. You need to treat the others with respect. You shall not lie, steal, or cheat other members. The others, that's another story. And then you have you shall not engage in piracy or slave trading activities. So, I mean, we were not crossing the boundary of piracy for sake, but all the other things, such as if we're in a lawless area, shooting to kill is fine.
Okay, no, that's cool. So, can you tell me a bit more about yourself as a player? What do you see yourself doing in the verse once the game goes live?
A little bit of all the things that we just mentioned here. I mean,
Hmm.
I'll do a little bit of exploring. I do have a mining rig. I have an RI. So I will do mining probably at start. but I will do also a lot of salvage. I mean, that's what really drives me to the game.
What ships then? You said you had an Orion, but what other
Right.
ships do you personally have? And are there any other ships that are your favourites or you're most looking forward to?
Sure. So yes, I do have an Orion. Beside that, I have just a basic starter package with a Aurora. So that's pretty much what I have at this point in time. This might increase a little bit in the future, but not by much. I want to win the other part in game. I think my Orion will be my moneymaker essentially. And so from there, I wish probably my next purchase will be Constellation Aquila,
Hmm.
and I want to do exploration slash salvage with that ship. And one ship that I do look forward to will probably be the Dragonfly, just because I hope that every member will have their own space motorcycle, and we can just
Proper
prowl
biker gang.
yeah, exactly, around the system, kind of making the rules.
So, what modules or gameplay mechanics are you most looking forward to then?
Well, with no surprise, I think it would be to find a big derelict um, or wreckage, I should say, and capital size ship, kind of like, and exploring it with a handful of crew or members, and just discover it and find whatever we can in it. That would be the most exciting part of the game to me at this point.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So, where can people find out more about your organisation?
Well, we do have our site on the Robert Space Industry. Just look for the name Wreckage or Wreck Raiders and we'll pop up. We're a small organization, like you mentioned earlier, but we have a lot of momentum, and I think it's a great time to join in to actually have an influence. And even if you have the time zone is not suitable for you, I would still open it up because we're interested in expanding other chapters to other time zone, essentially. So if you're a group of a handful of people that wants to have a banner under the Red Raiders, we'll be happy to discuss this. The big condition is about maturity when it comes to the players. That's pretty much the big condition that we have.
I saw that you have alliances effectively with Explorer and some of the other larger organisations. How's that going to work? Any idea?
Well, we don't have all understanding of how sharing information will be allowed or not allowed, but our understanding is, you know, there's we don't have a problem that you're affiliate, let's say with a big organization, Explorer, for example. We don't have a problem that you're an Explorer with those guys, but when it comes to sharing information, you share it with us, and then profit then gets split based on your guys, on the Explorers uh, what is it, 75, 15, or 70, 15, and 15 split that they have. So we don't have a problem of that kind of dynamics. The way we see it, yeah, again, we're still going to see how the star map information, for example, will be able to be shared and restrained to organization and affiliate and so forth. So we're still waiting to see on that front. But that's how we see it working overall.
So, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself or Rec Raiders?
Oh, I will mention one thing. Although
Yeah.
we don't mention anything about transportation and smuggling, we don't condemn or prevent you guys for doing that kind of stuff. We're just not the main focus. But if you guys want to go and do a smuggling run, we'll be like, sure, go ahead, have fun. The only thing we'll ask is that you respect the first rule of smuggling, which is you're not allowed to get caught.
Brilliant.
Yeah, if you do, then we'll say, you know what? Either you get smarter about it or you stop doing it. Chiasson, and I'm a star citizen.